There are a lot of people doubting the San Francisco 49ers offense heading into this season. And I get it. After finishing last year with only 6 wins and 11 losses, it's easy for frustration to boil over. Plenty of fans are ready to hit the reset button, throw in a towel, and say it's time to rebuild from the ground up. But let's just pause for a second. That's not where I stand. I don't think the 49ers need to start over. And frankly, there are a few solid reasons to be excited about this offensive unit. Yeah, last season left a bad taste. No denying that. But if we strip away the emotion and just look at the pieces this team still has and what they've added, we start to see a very different picture, a hopeful one. The running back room is where I want to begin because it's being slept on, and honestly, I'm kind of fired up about it. There's been this wave of rankings lately. Yeah, it's that full-on list season that hits every year. And in one of those breakdowns, the 49ers were placed at number 6 among running back groups. Now, I'll be honest with you, I don't agree. As with that ranking, I think the Niners are being underrated here. And it's not just about names on a depth chart, it's about system fit versatility and impact. You can tell me all day long about the Dolphins or the Ravens, and sure, some of those teams have dynamic weapons, but you're not going to convince me they've got a more complete, more versatile backfield than San Francisco when it's firing on all cylinders, even after losing Jordan Mason, who, by the way, led the team in rushing during the first chunk of last season. This team still has some serious firepower. Christian McCaffrey alone should raise the floor of any running back unit. When healthy, he's elite. And I don't use that word lightly. He's one of those players that completely changes a game plan. If he's on the field, you're accounting for him every single down. Whether he's running between the tackles, catching passes out of the backfield, or lining up wide. He's the kind of player defenses fear. And when we're talking about our best in the league conversations, I don't think there's any real debate. McCaffrey is right there at the top. Now there's some concern about his durability. I've seen that argument a million times, and I get it. The guy has had injury issues in the past. But when he's on the field, you can't deny his impact. And more importantly, I don't think he's lost a step. His vision, his burst, the way he moves in and out of cuts is still all there. You give me a healthy Christian McCaffrey, and I'm betting on him over almost anyone in the league. But even beyond McCaffrey, there's depth in this room that's getting overlooked. Isaac Guerendo is one of the most physically intriguing backs the team has brought in. His combination of size and speed is rare. He's not just fast, he's explosively fast for his frame. He can hit that edge and turn the corner in a blink, and if he stays healthy, he adds a whole new dynamic to this offense. That's the big if, of course, health. Because if Guerendo can't stay on the field, we might not get to see what he's capable of in this system. But then there's Jordan James, and this might be the guy I'm most excited about. He fits this Kyle Shanahan offense like a glove. He's a dual threat weapon, not just a north-south bruiser. He can move in space, he's comfortable catching passes, and he runs with real intent. There are already whispers from national analysts calling him one of the sneaky good pickups of the offseason, and I think they're spot on. He's still raw in some areas, but he's got the tools. And most importantly, he landed in the right system to develop those tools. You give Kyle Shanahan a guy with this kind of versatility and coachability, and the ceiling goes way up. I genuinely believe that if James gets an opportunity, and let's be honest, hopefully that opportunity comes without someone else getting hurt. But if he gets the reps, he could shine. He could become that change of pace complement to McCaffrey. And I'm not saying he's taking over or even demanding a committee approach right away, but it's the kind of talent that makes you stop and say, okay, we've got something here. And frankly, that's what I wanted to see last year with Jordan Mason. I said it back then. I wanted the 49ers to ease up on McCaffrey's workload and give Mason more touches because he was proving himself. He was showing real signs of breaking out. And sure enough, the deal he just signed suggests other teams saw the same thing. That's not a fluke. That's production that matters. Now the question is whether Isaac Guerendo or Jordan James, or maybe both, can follow that same path. Can they step up, contribute early, and give Shanahan the kind of options that make this offense harder to predict? If so, we're looking at a backfield that absolutely deserves to be in the top 5 in the league. And don't come at me with Miami. No disrespect to Devon Achane or their rookie pick, but that group is less tested, less proven, and doesn't have the kind of versatility you get with San Francisco. You can talk about upside all you want, but upside doesn't win games in November. Proven production, smart play design, and depth. That's what wins. And that's what this team has. And if we're talking play design, we can't leave Kyle Shanahan out of the conversation. Yes, I know. People are frustrated with the inconsistency. I hear it. I read the comments. 1 week, he looks like an offensive genius, and the next week, you're wondering what in the world just happened. But here's the thing. Even after a down year, even after finishing well below expectations, Shanahan is still widely viewed as the best play caller in the entire league. That's not just fan bias. That's what analysts, coaches, and even players around the NFL believe. Say what you want about the results, but the man knows how to draw plays and get the most out of his personnel. Other teams would fire their head coach tomorrow if it meant they could get Kyle Shanahan in the building. That's the level of respect he still commands. And that should tell you something. Is it frustrating when the offense stalls for a couple of weeks? Of course, no one enjoys those valleys. But the peaks, the moments when everything clicks, and the 49ers offense looks unstoppable. That's Shanahan at his best. And when you pair a mind like that with playmakers like McCaffrey, Debo, if he returns to form George Kittle and the next wave of talent coming in, that's where things get exciting again. Let's talk about those playmakers for a minute. Because I saw this ranking recently that listed the 49ers as having the 4th best group of offensive weapons heading into this year. Some people took that as a drop-off. Oh no, we were number 1 before, now we're down to 4. We're slipping. But I see it differently. You look at what this team dealt with last year. Deebo Samuel out for a large portion of the season. Brandon Ayuk missing time with injuries. Christian McCaffrey dealing with multiple issues. No consistent tight end 2 to support George Kittle. And even Ricky Pearsall not getting a full rookie year. And you're telling me they still landed in the top 5. That's impressive. You take all of that, throw in the addition of guys like Demarcus Robinson, who I think is going to be an underrated contributor, and the expected step forward from Jawan Jennings, and suddenly this group looks dangerous again. Jennings, by the way, was one of the most reliable third down receivers in the league last season. He wasn't flashy, but he was clutch, and that matters. He's tough, dependable, and not afraid to go over the middle. George Kittle, don't even get me started. He finished second only to A.J. Brown in ESPN's receiver score, and he's a tight end. That's absurd. He continues to be one of the most complete weapons in the league, not just as a pass catcher, but as a blocker and tone setter for the offense. And Ricky Pearsall might end up being the X factor in all of this. He's still flying a bit under the radar nationally, but the numbers show he was getting open last year. He just wasn't getting targeted consistently. That can change quickly. If he develops chemistry with whoever's under center and earns more looks, he could take on a bigger role in this offense. And when you look at all the attention that Kittle, McCaffrey, and Ayuk are going to draw, there's a real chance for Pearsall to feast against single coverage. That's how you build a deep, scary offense. Multiple guys who can beat you in different ways. Now, I'm not ignoring the offensive line issues. I hear those criticisms loud and clear. That's an area that needs more attention, and honestly, better depth. I'll talk about that more soon because it's a key piece of the puzzle. But just focusing on the playmakers for now, there's no denying the talent here. Injuries might have knocked them down a peg last year, but this group still belongs in the conversation for best in the league. And that's why I'm not hitting the panic button. Not even close. The offensive foundation is strong. The coaching mind is elite. The running back room has potential that people aren't recognizing. The wide receivers are healthy and motivated. And the rankings, whether you agree with them or not, still put the 49ers in the upper echelon. That's not a coincidence. That's not hype. That's respect, earned respect. Continuing where we left off, let's dig a little deeper into the offensive line situation, because it's honestly one of the biggest questions hanging over this team. The 49ers offense could be the best in the league on paper, but if the Olinate doesn't hold up, it's going to be tough for any of that talent to fully shine. The offensive line is the backbone of any offense, and San Francisco knows this all too well. Last season, injuries and inconsistency really took their toll. You had guys rotating in and out, some starters sidelined for stretches, and the chemistry just wasn't there. The result, pressure on the quarterback, disrupted timing for receivers and less room for the running backs to find those critical seams. One of the big talking points this offseason has been the addition of Trent Williams. If you haven't been Paying close attention, Trent Williams is widely considered one of the best left tackles in the NFL. Some say he's the best. And here's the thing, getting a player like him isn't just about plugging a hole in the lineup. It's about completely transforming the mentality of the offensive line. Having a leader like Williams who brings not only elite skill, but also veteran presence and toughness can elevate the entire group. You want to talk about a guy who can change the tone in the locker room and on the field. This is him. The 49ers offensive line going into the new season with Williams anchoring the left side changes everything. It gives the quarterback confidence to step up in the pocket. It allows the run game to attack with more power and finesse. And it sets a tone that says, we're here to dominate. Then you have the interior line, not the center and guards. Those spots have been under some scrutiny for depth and reliability, but the team has shown some smart moves here as well. Draft picks and free agency additions have brought in some versatile linemen who can step in and fill roles if injuries happen again. Versatility is crucial because NFL seasons are long and brutal. You never know when you might lose a starter, and having guys who can slide in without the offense falling apart is huge. San Francisco has been working hard to build that kind of flexibility into their line. Now I'm not going to pretend it's perfect. There are still questions about consistency and how well these guys will gel under pressure. But compared to last year, the outlook is brighter. The hope is that with better health continuity and the presence of Williams, the line can become one of the league's more formidable units. Protection is so important for a quarterback like Brock Purdy, who is still proving himself. Purdy showed flashes last season that he could be a dependable starter. He has good mobility, a quick release, and he's smart under pressure. But he's also relatively young and inexperienced, and his success heavily depends on the protection and the play calling he gets. A strong offensive line gives him the time he needs to survey the field and make accurate throws. It opens up routes and lets receivers get open instead of being forced to break off their patterns early. When an offense has that kind of time to work, everything flows smoother, and that's the goal. Speaking of the quarterback, the evolution of Brock Purdy is a fascinating storyline to follow. Coming into the league as a later-round pick, few expected him to take the reins and command the offense so quickly. But last year, he earned the trust of the coaching staff and the fan base by showing poise and making plays when it counted. There's a sense that Purdy still has a lot to learn and improve on, but the foundation is there. He's tough, he's competitive, and he's already demonstrated the ability to lead this team through tough stretches. The question now is how far he can take this offense in his second full year as a starter. One of the biggest advantages for Purdy is the system itself. Kyle Shanahan's offense is designed to put the quarterback in positions to succeed. It's creative, it's dynamic, and it puts a lot of emphasis on play action and misdirection. For a quarterback like Purdy, this scheme can be a perfect match. It allows him to use his athleticism and instincts, and it masks some of the limitations that come with being a young player. Shanahan's offense forces defenses to hesitate to guess, and that split second of confusion is often all the quarterback needs to make a play. The combination of Purdy's growth and Shanahan's scheme could be the key to unlocking this offense's potential. Now let's turn back to the skill players who will be catching the ball and making plays downfield. We talked about McCaffrey, Debo, Samuel, George Kittle, and Jawan Jennings before, but the chemistry between these players and Purdy will be critical. Chemistry isn't just about knowing the plays, it's about timing, trust, and understanding each other's tendencies. It's what separates average offenses from elite ones. And building that kind of rapport takes time, practice, and reps in real games. Debo Samuel is a unique weapon. When healthy, he's arguably one of the best wide receivers in the league. He's tough, elusive, and can beat you both with speed and power. He's also dangerous after the catch, turning short passes into big gains. The 49ers need Debo to stay healthy and maintain his explosiveness if this offense wants to reach the next level. Alongside him, Brandon Ayuk has shown he can be a reliable and dynamic receiver, especially in the slot. His route running and quickness complement Debo's physical style perfectly. Together, they give defenses nightmares because you have to account for multiple threats who attack in different ways. And then there's George Kittle. Simply put, he's one of the best tight ends in football. His ability to block in the run game and also stretch the field as a receiver is unmatched. Kittle isn't just a safety valve. He's a primary weapon. When Kittle is healthy, the offense gains a whole new dimension. He can draw double teams, open up the middle of the field, and create mismatches that Shanahan can exploit with his play. Designs. He's also a fierce competitor who brings energy and leadership. When Kittle is on the field, the offense feels more confident and balanced. Looking ahead, the supporting cast is also key. Receivers like DeMarcus Robinson and Ricky Pearsall might not grab headlines yet, but they play important roles. Robinson brings experience and a solid track record as a reliable possession receiver. Pearsall is still young, but he showed flashes of becoming a consistent threat. If those players can step up, it takes pressure off the primary weapons and forces defenses to cover the entire field. Depth is crucial, especially in a physically demanding league like the NFL, where injuries can quickly change a team's fortunes. It's also worth mentioning the running backs again, because this offense relies heavily on the run game to function effectively. A successful running game sets up play action and opens up opportunities for the passing game. With McCaffrey's versatility plus the raw power and speed of guys like Jordan James and Isaac Guerendo, the 49ers have a strong foundation. If this group stays healthy and can establish dominance on the ground early in games, it will make life easier for Purdy and the receivers. So what does all this mean for the San Francisco 49ers heading into the season? The pieces are there. The coaching staff is top-notch. The playmakers are exciting and diverse. The offensive line with some key additions has the potential to be solid. And the quarterback situation has shown promising development. The 49ers aren't just hoping to improve, they have a real shot at being one of the most dynamic and productive offenses in the league. Of course, football is unpredictable, and there are always challenges. Injuries can derail even the best laid plans. Chemistry can take time to develop, and sometimes things just don't click. But if you're looking for reasons to be optimistic, the 49ers offense has plenty. The key will be consistency, bringing all these elements together week after week and executing at a high level. If they can do that, this team could surprise a lot of people. Ultimately, I'm excited to watch this offense grow. There's a feeling that the best is yet to come, that this group is on the cusp of breaking out. And as fans, that's what we want, to see our team compete at the highest level, to have moments of brilliance, and to make deep runs in the playoffs. The 49ers offense has all the ingredients for that. It's now up to the players and coaches to put it all together. And as the season unfolds, I'll be watching closely, eager to see how this story develops. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are growing louder in the Bay Area as reports emerge that San Francisco 49ers cornerback Diomedor LENOR has been arrested and suspended by the NFL. While official details remain scarce, early indications suggest that the incident has sent shockwaves through the 49ers locker room, sparking internal tension and raising questions about the team's leadership and future dynamics. Sources close to the organization hint at a deepening sense of unrest among players and staff, with some reportedly blindsided by the league's swift disciplinary action. The suspension, though not yet fully confirmed by team officials, has already started to ripple through the franchise, prompting speculation about how this could affect the team's chemistry ahead of the new season. While LENOR had emerged as a reliable presence in San Francisco's secondary, this sudden turn of events has put the franchise in an uncomfortable spotlight. There are murmurs that trust may be eroding inside the locker room, as key figures are allegedly questioning how something of this magnitude could happen without warning signs. With training camp looming, insiders believe that the team is scrambling to restore order and control the narrative before it spirals further. Veterans on the roster are said to be trying to maintain composure, but privately there's concern about the impact this controversy could have on a unit that had prided itself on discipline and focus. Some even fear that this episode could fracture the delicate balance of a locker room already under pressure after last season's Super Bowl disappointment.